Fernando Mendoza accepted the Davey O'Brien Award, which adds to the long list of recognition that he got this season. It's cool to see Fernando in a suit talking about the Hoosiers, but it's kind of crazy that I guess they just had the ceremony for it. February 16th, February 17th? Kind of crazy.
It's a pretty prestigious award. It's probably considered besides the Maxwell and the Heisman, it's probably the biggest quarterback award. So kind of stands by itself in a way. Yeah, good for him to clean up house on all the quarterback awards this year. I believe actually he didn't clean up house. I believe Pavia won the Unitas. He won, or the Manning. He won one of the awards.
Definitely not the Manning. And then real quick, while you're looking that up, there was a hilarious NFL comp for Omar Cooper Jr. today. If I told you Omar Cooper Jr. was comped to a former Giants receiver, which one would you say it was?
Omar Cooper? Well, I saw the comp today. So I know who you're going to say. But if I were to like actually strictly New York Giants receivers comp Omar Cooper, I'm calculating. It would be Steve Smith.
Oh my God, dude.
Or it would be, I think, yeah, he's not Manningham. Maybe Hakeem Nicks. Maybe.
No, he's not big.
I would go Steve Smith.
Steve Smith's a good one.
I like Steve Smith. He was very similar to like watching him at USC, obviously, all the time. Dwayne Jarrett's like your Elijah Surratt, and then you had your Steve Smith, your Omar Cooper. It's kind of like the same, like those two very, very similar receiver duos there. Yeah, but I think Victor Cruz, not a bad one either. I don't know if Coop has the straight line speed that Cruz does, but might be
he's bigger too.
Maybe a better and stronger athlete though overall.
Yeah. But Kadarius Toney was the comp that some random person came up with for Omar Cooper Jr. And it's just how on earth and what planet is that the comp? It's crazy.
People don't like. I've seen like I'm in a group chat too. It goes my fantasy football group chat back home. You know, all the boys I grew up with, like big football heads like me. I gave them my Debo Omar Cooper comp, and one guy's like, he plays nothing like him. I'm like, did you watch Omar Cooper for 4 years like I did? Like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean he plays nothing like him? Like, they're yak gods, like breaking tackles, making plays after the catch, like doing things in no space, like scoring touchdowns, like that. I see Debo. Like, sorry, like maybe you could disagree with me, but you just can't say he plays nothing like him. That's crazy.
It's funny because me and you have been having this argument but going back and forth for like 2 months, and I see Ayuk.
Ayuk is he's a freak, man. Cooper's like, he's more of a good football player than a freak in my mind. If that makes sense.
I know, but was Ayuk a freak because he was playing in the Big 12 or the Pac-12? Sorry, the Pac-12. Like, I feel like they're going to run similar.
He's 6'3" and runs a 4.3.
No, they're the same. No, he's not 6'3". They're the same size. And he ran 4.5.
Maybe. I mean, Ayuk.
He was clocked. I think he was clocked at like 0.8 miles per hour faster.
Okay, it's not a bad one. Now that I know Ayuk's he is 6 foot. I looked it up. But he looks 6'3" to me.
But you watch Ayuk's college highlights, and I understand what you're saying, where it's like it looked like he was like the senior playing with freshmen, like it was like high school senior playing with freshmen, like he was destroying those dudes in college. But also
he's kind of dogging them.
Ayuk's draft capital was what, 27 or 24? Like Coop's right in that range.
Yeah, I agree. I can
listen,
see
we're talking about
two enough buzz to sneak into that first round, and
I'll tell you what, he's not. Between the ears, he's light years ahead of Brandon Ayuk. So.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I mean, he had to go through 2 years of Tom Allen. Like, you don't think that kid has some perspective on things? Like, yeah, he probably does on life, and what it's like to like go 5-12 in the NFL. Like, he can handle that better than a lot of the guys coming into the draft.
This is true. Then I want to, I guess, end the smoke, lead into the last kind of what I want to talk about here is Indiana Athletics finally released what their like operating income was. They're operating at a $10.4 million, or they operated at a $10.4 million surplus for 2025, which is in modern college athletics utterly ridiculous. The fact that they made money is insane.
That's almost better than winning Natty.
Well, I mean, I think that's directly attributed to winning the national championship. Is when your football team is good, like you can make money, and it's not impossible to make money as an athletics program in 2025. But when you look at some of these scary numbers that were coming out from like Penn State and FSU, and I can't remember who it was. I think Tennessee may have been another one where it was like these 400, $500 million deficits. Texas being another one. It's really, really impressive stuff from Scott Dolson and the rest of the department that they ended up plus money essentially on the year. And it leads me into people have been speculating left and right about upgrades to Memorial Stadium. And I wanted to throw a couple of different things at you, but that's what operating at a surplus as an athletic department allows you to do is you can then take that money and reinvest it into the program. Like look at what a lot of these programs were doing, losing money. They were still spending it left and right. Like Indiana has money. That's a very, very impressive thing.
100%. Yeah, I saw the AI generation of 100K Memorial Stadium. I think that's a bit much. I think like a 72 would be pretty realistic and would get the job done in terms of what we're looking to accomplish. I think we were at the Memorial, right, and we were talking just filling it out. Just making it go around. Just make it unison at the top, almost like the Rose Bowl. Obviously, very biased in that take, but just filling it out and making both sides even. I think people know what I'm talking about. Like, I believe the press box side's a little taller than the other side.
Well, I think it's they need a new press box, and I think that Signetti even acknowledged, I think last offseason that like the press box is coming down before he leaves. Like he's tearing the thing down. He's tearing the thing down. So
he's gonna tear it down himself. He's gonna the dynamite. He's gonna put the
stay away from the dynamite, coach. That's not what we need right now.
Yeah, no.
But I'm very confident that's going to happen. But no, I think you're right. But I think when it comes to expansion, I think a lot of people point to Indiana's turnout at the Rose Bowl. They point to Indiana's turnout at the Peach Bowl, and they're like, look at all the people that go to Indiana football games. Like we could have that in Bloomington. I think in theory, yes. I think what you have to look at what Respectable Adam was pointing out on the timeline is that when you look at Indiana's crowd performance, I'll call it, during the non-conference games, even last year, it left a lot to be desired. And so it would be like expansion, I think is an interesting way to look at it, because I think when you start talking about premium seating, I think Indiana definitely needs to expand that. And I think that is probably where you see most of the money go first. But I think in terms of like Wi-Fi connection and like being able to communicate with people outside of the stadium when you're inside the stadium and like post videos and things like that, that's a huge one that people want. Seat backs for people that aren't students, another huge one. So I don't know if it's necessarily like we need to expand Memorial, because like that's a really loud place to play when you pack it with 90 to 95% Hoosiers. We saw it during the Illinois game. You see Autzen Stadium out in Oregon is a really hard place to play, and that's under 60,000 capacity. So you don't necessarily need to have like all of these seats, but I do think that it needs some upgrades. And I think that the one that makes me the most uncomfortable isn't even an upgrade to Memorial Stadium, but it's the fact that like it's hard to find a hotel or a place to stay in Bloomington, and it's expensive to rent some of these Airbnbs. And it's a supply and demand thing at the end of the day. Like there just isn't enough places to stay. I don't want to say comfortably, because like you can accommodate, and like we were looking at like campsites and left and right, but if you made it easier for people to and cheaper for people to come in for a weekend, then I think you can do whatever you want to Memorial Stadium. You could just churn people in and out. But then you start talking about really changing the landscape of Bloomington, and that becomes an uncomfortable conversation. So it's tricky. But I think premium seating for sure is something that we're going to see upgraded. And then game day activations, like they're just going to do more to get people, like with people in the stadium. It is something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on.
I think you made a ton of good points. Honestly, I echo everything you just said. I think priority needs to go to upgrading just the game day atmosphere, the seat backs, the Wi-Fi, just overall, like getting to Bloomington. Like not every Hoosier fan lives in Indy, and lives in Bloomington. Like that's just largest living fan, but it can't happen. It just that's just not the reality. And people want to go right. And you made a good point with the non-con. Like we haven't filled that out yet, so like doesn't make sense to expand yet until we're selling out every single game. I think the priority now, with that in mind, goes to the seat backs, the Wi-Fi, the press box. I think those will be the first projects done. And then once that's done, then we could talk about building up a little bit. But this is going to be like a 10-year plus conversation around.
I actually think it'll happen quicker than that.
Making money. It's this conversation is never going to stop. And yeah.
Well, I don't think you need to expand. Here's where I landed, Brad, is I don't think you need to expand Memorial Stadium. I think if demand dictates that you need to expand, right, where you have a line of season ticket holders and you have the long wait list, and it's like, okay, like maybe we really need to add some seats here. But I think just like upgrading the stadium and modernizing the press box and modernizing the premium seating and just making the little things that much nicer, because like they have the money to do so as a program, and then it makes that, like we're talking about, the game day atmosphere that much better. So it's really, really exciting. And it's like this is what you get to do when you're a successful program, is you get to reinvest in the program, and really excited to see what that looks like.